a dirty bass coming in there. Welcome back to another episode of Indie Quest, a celebration of the indie and obscure. We're here once again to enjoy some indie video games. However, we're specifically going to be enjoying the music from some indie video games this go around. That's right, we're bringing you another IQ OST episode. These are always some of my favorites to do because, you know what, sometimes it's nice to be able to shine a little bit of a spotlight on some great gaming tunes. Some of these go a little under the radar. Some don't, but they're all good. So, I am joined today with my good buddy, Captain Drachma. Drachma, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great today, and I am also excited to talk about some music. I think that this is one of those things that you always want to talk about the music in your favorite games, but without linking to people or sharing it on Twitter, and then you know that as soon as you do it, no one's actually clicking on it. They're going to comment and be like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one. I remember that one, and then they move on, right? But I know for a fact that it isn't just some of our favorite episodes, but our audience loves these episodes too. I've heard it from many people. I loved it when I was a listener. It's just one of those things you can just put on. It's like listening to Spotify or something. Like, I don't exactly know what's coming, but you kind of get an idea of what the host's like and things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, just a little Indie Tunes Radio. And yeah, these are always some of my favorite to record. They're very chill. They're very laid back. We just get kind of, chat back and forth, talk about what we like. And I always leave discovering either some new games that I didn't even know about or an appreciation for some music in some games that maybe I overlooked or, I'm not above admitting this here on IQ OST. Yeah, every now and again, I turn the volume down a little bit on the game I'm playing, and I let the Twitch stream on the side go, or I let the Netflix show. Yeah, I'm just human. So it's sometimes good for me to be gently reprimanded and scolded about what I let slip by as I did that.
See, that is wild to me because we are like very stark opposites when it comes to that. I never do that. I don't know why it is, especially with like some of the games I like to play are very heavy narratively, so I want to make sure I can focus on what I'm doing, right? I want to get the most out of the story that I'm listening to or reading. But yeah, I always make sure, unless it's just horribly grating music. But the thing is, if it's really bad music, it's probably not a very good game in most cases. So, you know what I mean? Like, in those cases, like, I probably am not playing that game for very long. But I don't know. I just feel like, especially lately, like, the last 20 years of games, developers and composers have gotten so good at matching that gameplay up with the music.
Yes.
And, yeah, every once in a while I'll watch you stream when I'm playing a game, but it's usually I can't focus for long enough, and maybe that's a me problem, so I just do one or the other. But yeah, I don't know. We're different in that way, which is I learned today. Everyone learned that today. So
yeah, there you go. I mean, and it's always context dependent, right? If it's a very text heavy game, I won't have something else on, or there are certain games where I need to like really be in sort of the vibe of it, Hollow Knight and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not afraid of admitting it that every now and again I let that volume slider tick 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 down just a little bit. You can't blame me. I've been raised most of my life to have a mobile computer in my pocket, and it, like many of us, has conditioned me to always demand more entertainment, more satisfaction, more streams of input blasting into my brain. I don't like it, but it does happen sometimes. And this is a good therapeutic way for me to do a little self-reprimanding and make sure that I don't let it happen again in the future.
You talk about always having that phone right there. That is so true. Like, just in life now, like I saw a meme or something that said, you don't you don't listen or watch something on your phone while you're eating? What kind of monster are you, or something like that? And that's so true. Like, if I don't have the family around and I'm just sitting by myself, there is no chance that I'm just sitting there only eating food. Like, come on now.
Yes.
I am doing something else. Like, we've gotten so good at multitasking in that way, getting other things done, like, maximizing our time on this earth, I guess. So yeah.
And we'll get to the music, I promise. But the like, oh, it's getting a little extreme moment for me is the other day I was bringing the trash out. So I was like, watching a show or Twitch or something, and I'm talking to Leah, and I was just bringing the trash to my trash cans, which are at the top of my driveway, literally 10-15 paces away from my front door. And as soon as I hit the front door, I hit play on a podcast on my phone. I let them speak 2 sentences, and then when I got back in the house, I unpaused it. I was like, I literally can't go like the 30 seconds it takes to throw out the trash without some sort of entertainment, without some sort of engagement, which is, I'm going to say, if Indie Quest is that engagement for you, that's a good thing. But for everybody else, it's, maybe we need to strike our balances.
I do that exact same thing, and this is going to make me sound horrible, but every once in a while I'm driving, I'm not watching YouTube. I'm not staring at my phone, but I might have it on. I'm listening to it, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll get home, pull in the garage, and all of a sudden I have my work bag to carry in. I have, my phones. I have 2 phones because I have a work phone, and my wallet, and maybe my the headphones. I got a lot of stuff I had to carry in, right? So I kind of have to plan that out. And I have the video playing, and I haven't been able to watch it the whole time, so I stare down at it, and I sit there for a couple minutes, and I'm looking at it, and then I'm like, well, man, this is good. I want to keep watching this. So instead of just pausing it and shutting my phone off for the 15 seconds it will take to walk into the house, I am like trying to juggle while holding my phone in one hand, getting my bag on, getting the rest of my stuff, and kind of doing that little dance all the way into the house. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing that?
I don't know. I know that struggle. I know it so well. Oh my God. Well, if you out there are also struggling with what I think at this point we can probably reasonably call addiction to entertainment, we're here to just give you just a little bit more, just one more taste of that. But this is the type of episode very much designed, have us on in the background. Hopefully you're on like a nice long drive or something. You can tune your attention in and out. We just want to introduce you to some cool music and just generally let you sort of vibe. You know what? We're here to just give you some bangers, some low keys, whatever it is that we find. So, Drachma, you think we should go in and just start giving them some music?
I think they're ready. They saw IQ OST, and they're wondering why we're still talking.
Yeah, they're seeing that the timestamp's at like 7-8 minutes, and they're like, all right, you guys aren't that entertaining. Let's get to the music, please. All right. Exactly. Well, that's fair. Thank you for your criticism. We're responding to that and adjusting appropriately, so please leave us 5 stars in iTunes. All right, my first track here that I'm going to be bringing, I mean, this was always going to happen. This was destined to show up. I just got to get it out of the way right away. So my first one is a song from Neon White, the game that I have been addicted to lately. I think a lot of people have been addicted to it. This seemed like it really picked up some steam and sort of like, from my impression, it's caught a bit of a tailwind since it came out. More and more people that I follow online, more and more of my friends, more and more of the like YouTubers and other podcasters and folks with other shows, everyone seems to be getting into it. It's a great game for getting into like little competitive battles and back and forth with your friend. And it just so happens to have a bit of a banger soundtrack. It's got kind of like this like drum and bass, sort of like very high energy, very, very frantic, very kinetic, it's very action packed. It gets the blood pumping, which is good because you need to have the blood pumping when you're going through these really, really fast levels. So, this very first song is one of the earlier ones you'll hear in the game, but I think it's very emblematic of kind of the tone and the feel of the soundtrack overall. If you've seen the visuals for this game, it's got this like Sega blue sky, just kind of like bright, colorful aesthetic, and everything is surrounded by like water and white architecture, and I feel like this song matches that very well. So this is going to be Glass Ocean from the Neon White soundtrack by Machine Girl. I love that song, and thank God that I do, because you're going to hear it an awful lot. In fact, anyone who was over on my stream recently as I was grinding times in the first world of this game, they heard it a lot too. They heard it for about 3 straight hours, and I never got sick of it. I still like it enough to sit here and proactively bring it to our podcast. What'd you think, man?
Oh, it's great. I mean, that's I was there when you were streaming this game, going against Matt Kuo, and
Yep.
kind of swapping back and forth. And yeah, it's the perfect up tempo and yet still like serene. It is weird
Yeah.
combination, right? It's like if you take those drums and that bass out of there, it's really calming, right? But as soon as you add
Mm-hmm.
that in, it's really bumping, and it goes perfectly with the game. That constant frenetic gameplay, right? It really works
Yep.
well.
Yeah, and there are a few parts of that track where they will drop that sort of like drum and bass background, and you'll just get like a little bit of reverb or like just the synth line or something there. And in those moments, you're like, all right, yeah, I can see how this is like this like low key a chill song, but it's just like amped up to 11, which is sort of the vibe of the game.
Yep.
So I love that. And yeah, I hopefully that turned at least one of you on to Neon White, because it is my current addiction.
I can attest to that. Yes. All right. I suppose we'll transition into my first pick today. So my a gentle, we'll call it a gentle theme that I brought was I was going to pick a song that I thought would appeal to both of my co-hosts. So as everybody can tell, Josh wasn't able to make it today. He's got other things going on, so we picked it up and we're running with it for today, and hopefully he'll be back for the next one. But I picked a song for Steve and I picked a song for Josh, and then I picked a song that appeals to me personally as well. So so hopefully Steve likes that one too. But Steve, I'm going to go with your song first, and it will be a song from Titan Souls.
Ooh, yeah, buddy, you know it.
So actually, it's Souls, one of the first songs you hear. And honestly, when I was playing this game and heard this song playing, I was like, "Oh, this is just so good." I know I've talked about it in a previous episode about how good the music is, and I stand by that. And that's why I wanted to bring one for this. Like, so good. This song is so relaxing and serene, and you listen to it, but it's like a hammock song. Like, I feel like you could just put this on and have it repeat for an hour and lay in a hammock in between two trees just staring up at the clouds. Like, it's just that kind of a song. So we will be listening to Souls from Titan Souls. All right, so that was Souls from Titan Souls. Like I said, just a very calming, soothing song. Great to just put on when you've had a rough day at work and you just want to chill. Like, it's just so good. What'd you think, Steve?
Yeah, I love that song. Titan Souls is a great game that I've been playing a lot recently, and I actually it's particularly nice and particularly meaningful because it's one of the rare games that I got to get recommended by IndieQuest. You know, I'm always out here offering up recommendation, but I'm not usually getting the recommendation, at least not from the podcast itself. But just so happened that when I couldn't make it for an ep, you ended up bringing this one. And even though I always knew it would be something that I would like, I was aware of the game, but it finally pushed me over the edge, gave me that nudge to check it out. And yeah, I just found loved it. So good call.
I think it's one of the few games that you and I actually have differing opinions of. Like, and honestly, I think it's a great game, and it's kind of marinated some. And I really honestly want to go back. Like, I am nostalgic for it already, and I just played it like 2 months ago, right? So it's definitely one that sits with you well. But a lot of people in the Discord have been playing it, and everybody's divided on it. It's just crazy. But I mean, I think that everybody will admit that it has a great soundtrack. So I was happy to be able to bring that to this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And that song itself, it's short, it's sweet, but I love it. It has a little bit of like, if you told me that this was like the overworld theme from a JRPG or something, I would almost believe you. It's like just a little more somber version of some RPG music.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And I love some RPG music. That's some of the best stuff in those kinds of games, right? That is perfect description for where this music would fit well. So,
yeah. Awesome recommendation and great song choice. So, I'm going to bring you my second one. We're going to flip the script a little bit here on IQ OST. I'm bringing to you a song that I had not heard until yesterday for a game that I have never played. So, I was, as of the time that we're recording this, Summer Games Done Quick, the charity speedrunning marathon that many of you might be aware of from Twitch, was going on. And it just so happens that the summer version of that marathon is recorded in my backyard, and so I was able to visit them in person, as well as meet up with some friends who are speedrunners, a couple of which who were actually running games in the marathon. But as part of being at that marathon, one thing that I like about SGDQ is I'm always introduced to some games that I'd never heard of, or games that make particularly cool speedruns. And one of those is a game called Lumione, or Lumione, I don't really know. Lumione. And this is one I'd never... You're giving me kind of a look. Are you aware of this game?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of it, but I've heard of it. It's like one of those games that as soon as you said it, something popped into my brain, but there's no pictures in my brain associated with the name. I feel like I've heard of it, so...
All right. Well, maybe I'm behind the times on it, or maybe Drachma, as always, is just 2 steps ahead of me. It's hard to say. But so this game was run. I think it was run by Breakdown, who has done a lot of GDQ runs. I first saw their runs when they did Super Meat Boy back in like 2012 or 2013. But it makes sense if you have that history of Super Meat Boy, because this is very much that type of difficult puzzle platformer. It feels a little bit reductive to make like direct comparisons to games. Like, this is just the hybrid of X meets X, but I think in reality it really is the best way to describe this game is imagine the like art direction, the vibe of Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the gameplay of Celeste, so a lot of like difficult puzzle platforming, avoiding spikes, some of the same mechanics as Celeste, even where you can like dash through like these areas of glowing material, and then you shoot out the other end, or you can get like extra dashes from flowers and stuff like that, or from feathers. So very much Celeste meets Ori and the Blind Forest, I would say. And I saw it, and immediately I was like, oh yeah, this is the type of game I would definitely love. Oh yeah, this is the type of game I definitely want to play. And so I looked up the soundtrack, and I was like, you know what? This is matching those vibes. I'm kind of feeling this. This is pretty good. And so I just wanted to bring one to, introduce folks to some music from this game, and hopefully see if it, clicks with some other people the way that it did for me. So we are going to listen to a song called Annihilation of Light. I can't really tell you where it happens in the game. I assume relatively early, because it's early in the OST. But it's from Lumione, and I don't know the exact composer's name because they just credit Glimmer Studio, which I think is the studio that made the game. So this is from Glimmer Studios Lumione, Annihilation of Light. So yeah, was that effective? Did that get you at least interested in Lumione?
Yes, I think that as soon as we are done here, I'm going to go check out some gameplay footage because that song is excellent and it invokes a curiosity in me, I suppose.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good so far on songs that low key sound like they came from PS1 era RPGs, and that one was no exception. But I like that. You know, it's kind of like high intensity. It's got that nice little woodwind towards the end there.
Yep.
It's just a good vibe. And if you look up screenshots of this game, it's a very beautiful game. Great art direction. So yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to let people become aware of it. We'll say came out last year, and I certainly haven't heard many people talking about it.
All right, next song is the one that I brought initially for Josh. So, hello, Josh. I suppose you'll be listening to this. This song's for you, buddy.
I can't wait to hear it.
That was an amazing Josh impression. I've never heard a better one. All right, so this song is from Katana Zero, which we talked about pretty recently. Something I said when we talked about it is it's just got such good music, and just the presentation of how the music flows into the game I think is just amazing. And of course they're really good to listen to on their own. So this song is actually called Sneaky Driver. So yes, let's go ahead and take a listen to this, and I can't wait to hear Josh's feedback on my choice. All right, so that's Sneaky Driver. It just makes me want to go grab my bathrobe, find a katana, and go visit my annoying neighbor. Just kidding. Let's make that clear. Just kidding. But like, it's just so, oh man, I don't know. It's like that got that somber undertone, but man, those drums and bass kick in, and it's just like, this song is taking me places that I didn't know I could go. What'd you think?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That, like a minute or so in, it's kind of like building, and then it hits you with those splashes of synth, and it's just like, ooh, oh yeah. Starting with that real crunchy, kind of grimy, crackling bass, and leading into those like clean, kind of vibrant synths. I'm a big fan. It's good. A little behind the scenes for everyone. So the way that we run these OST episodes, we bring tracks. They're always blind picks. We never know what's coming because we want honest reactions. and then we listen to the song once, and then we we break down our feelings. But as we're listening to it, you usually don't get to hear the conversation, and
Yeah.
sometimes there isn't. Sometimes we're kind of just like focusing on the song, but sometimes we're having a little bit of back and forth. And this is the type of song where I was vibing to it so hard, like I'm just like bobbing my head, kind of forgetting that we're doing an OST episode, just talking to Drachma. And then all of a sudden those synths come in, and I'm like, oh, babe, I remember what I was doing. All right, I remember why I'm sitting on this computer desk right now. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
when that happened, it was funny because I was sitting here listening to it, and I was like a few seconds behind Steve at this point. And he's like, ooh. And I'm like, oh, I know where you just made it to. And then as soon as it hit it for me, I was like, ooh. It's just so good when that synth comes in. It's just, that's such a varied song. And it's just, oh, man, I don't know. One of the few video game songs, a lot of video game songs do, but just like goosebumps and chills every time, like all the way through. It's just so good, especially in context when you're playing Katana Zero and your character reaches down, clicks his Walkman, does that crunch, and there that song comes on, and you're gonna go kill a lot of people, right? But it's just it works so well. I just work so well with that game. So
Yeah. Great pick. Great song. And once again, I am guilted. I need to go back and finish Katana Zero. But I like to listen to the soundtrack at the very least. So, all right. We're going to wrap into my third and final pick here. And it is at this point in the story that I reveal my secret theme to you. You didn't know you were being themed the whole time. Haha. So, we sort of originally loosely talked about having a bit of like a summer vibe to this whole episode, like some summer tunes, and I was like, okay, but I'm gonna flip it on its head. So what I decided is I wanted to grab 3 tracks that I feel like represent different moods of the same summer day. So we started with Neon White, very high energy, very action packed, very high noon, hot sun overhead, right? We had Lumion, we have that summer night, starry sky vibing, and my last track, which is From a Short Hike, a Short Flight, is going to be the bridge between those two. This is that sunset hour bringing us from that hot day to that cool night. By the end of this one, you're going to feel like you experienced a full summer vacation day. So we have brought a Short Hike music to IQ OST before, but it's not my fault if a soundtrack is banging this hard. We are going to inevitably bring more songs to it again, and there truly is no better song to be bringing than A Short Flight. So this is a song that you'll hear in the game at the very end, as you're sort of like it's sort of like a recap song. It's like your triumph song, representative of all the work you did, all the hiking that you did to get to the top of the mountain. It's a bit of your victory lap, and the time of day in game very much matches the time of day that we're going for here. And I think you'll see as the track goes on how it sort of like transitions you from one spot to another. So this is A Short Flight from A Short Hike. The song is by Mark Sparling. Let's give it a listen.
let's do it.
Yeah, I hope everyone liked the track. How was the secret theme reveal? Are you floored? Are you amazed?
I was completely blown away. Steve really knows how to keep us on the edge of our seat, I would say. So, but no, that song is fantastic. Like it's just, and it perfectly with your theme makes so much sense going from your first song to your second song, and this being right in sandwich in between. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
perfect, like winding out the night, getting ready to relax. Seems like a perfect throw it on when I'm on my drive home from work to kind of leave it all behind and just go home, right?
Yep, exactly. I feel like that start of that one, you're right at that golden hour. The sun is low, but it's in the sky, and by the end of the song, the sky is getting dark. It's blue, and you're about to light up the bonfire. Like
Yeah.
that is the exact tone.
Yep.
Yeah, love that game. Again, this is my soapbox to once again request that all of you play A Short Hike because it is one of the best games I've played in a long time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I need to get on that for sure, especially knowing after talking to you about it, and the Discord was all buzzing about that game. I don't know, last year, lots of
Mm-hmm.
people played it. It's short and things like that. Like I think that any game that's short, anybody should jump on and experience as long as it's a good game and recommended by your friends. Right? I need to get on
Yep.
that.
Heck yeah. Well, you know what else you need to get on? You need to get on giving me this third song.
All right, my third song is from a game that I have actually been playing recently. So I've actually discussed this game a little bit with our good pal Steve here. I have been playing Owlboy,
Mmm.
and Owlboy is just very. I'm not entirely sure exactly how I feel about the game overall yet. It's good. As everything I've played so far, I played for about 2 hours. It's really good. But the two things that stand out to me the most are the art style, which I cannot show you on a podcast, but please, if you don't know what Owlboy is, it's a pretty popular game, I think, but go look it up. It is so good. Just the backgrounds. We were talking about Silk Song some last episode, and I just love how the backgrounds look and just the amount of detail
Yeah.
that they put into them. They did the same thing with Owlboy. Like it just seems like it's so handcrafted in some of the ways that they made everything look. It's great. But second thing that Owlboy does really well is give you some awesome tunes for your ears. And we're going to
Mm-hmm.
listen to one right now. And this is actually just the main theme. So if you've never played the game, but you've got it downloaded, you can go click on it now and it'll come up as soon as it starts. But I've said in the past, I think that if a game gives you something to latch onto at the very beginning that shows that, hey, this is quality, it does
Yep.
that with the start of the race, man. You get in there and you hear this song right out of the gate, and it's like, oh, this is going to be a good experience. So let's listen to the main theme from Owlboy. All right, so that was the main theme from Owlboy. Just it seems like for an indie game to be able to have so much backing to literally it just sounds like there's an entire symphony in that
Yeah.
song. Like it sounds like there's a 50-piece band in that song. It's just insane, and that it brings you into the game. Bright, beautiful colors on screen. So, what did you think, Steve?
Yeah, loved it. It's like again, it really swells up to like a real high point with a lot going on all at once. It reminds me honestly of something that you'd hear from like an animated movie. Like if that was from like a Ghibli movie
Yeah,
or
oh
a
yeah.
Pixar movie or something, I would 100% have believed you because it has a very similar vibe. And yeah, Owlboy is another one that I have played through, and I would agree with you 100% that the standouts are the visual style and that soundtrack. So if you enjoyed that theme, there's more where that came from in terms of the soundtrack. So you might want to check out Owlboy.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that that kind of wraps up all the songs. So hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to what we brought today. We would love, we talk about it about every episode, but shoot us an email if you have suggestions for songs. Like I would love to hear songs. I think something that maybe a lot of us do is look up a soundtrack. You talked about doing it with
Yep.
Lumion, looking up a soundtrack before you even play it to kind of see what kind of mood is this going to put me in, because it has so much to do with that. I would love to hear songs from games I haven't played, because if I'm like, man, this is a banging soundtrack, I need to go check this game out, right? So I'd love to hear some recommendations from people.
Yeah, that would be awesome. In fact, if enough of you want to shoot us song recommendations, you can do it either at our email at indiequestpod@gmail.com, or you can just shoot us a link on Twitter at indiequestpod. Maybe if we get enough of them, maybe in the future we'll put together a little community IQ OST episode. We'll let y'all take the reins and surprise all three of us. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would love that. And the way I would do it, and a lot of the way that I always do these episodes, is I try not to spoil myself with what my co-hosts have brought, be it a game or be it songs, so that I can have that raw live reaction. So I will totally do that and try to do as little research as possible on these songs. And you will have my reaction as it would have been if you were at my house or we were hanging out and you're like, hey, listen to this, and give me your earbud, and I'll take a listen. I'd love that. I think that would be an awesome episode.
Yeah, same. So go ahead, shoot us those again at indiequestpod@gmail.com or at indiequestpod on Twitter. But beyond that, I think it's time for us to say our final goodbyes, give our sign-offs. Drachma, where on the internet can they find you?
They can find me at Captain Drachma on Twitter. And of course, you can always find me in the Polymedia Discord, the best place on the internet.
Heck yeah. You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch as Blinkoom, that ends in OOM, like out of mana. Streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, including many of the indie games that you see on episodes like this, so come say hi. And you can follow Josh, who wasn't able to make it today, at Frantic Society on Twitter as well. As always, Drachma mentioned we have to give a shout out to our excellent podcast network. If you go to polymedianetwork.com, you'll be able to check out all the great shows over there. PD's Power Hour, Tales of Lesser Medium, Drunk Friend, Polykill, a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, we have new shows coming hot off the press too. So if you like movie shows, again, polymedianetwork.com is where you can find all of those. And with that said, I think it wraps up another IQ OST, another Indie Quest episode. Drachma, any final words of wisdom for the people?
Play more indie games and discover music that you can send to us so I can listen to it as well. And then I'll play those games too, probably, if it's really banging. Please do that.
Seconded. Thanks, everyone.
See you, everybody.